Hey, Kyleigh. Good morning. How are ya?
Hi, good morning. Good, how are you?
I'm great. I was just reading up on your bio, and I just remembered you live in Vancouver too, so
Yeah,
close to me. So you live downtown, or
let's go for coffee. No, I'm on Canby, just
hmm,
up.
close? So I live in White Rocks. We're very close.
Okay.
Same time zone, which is always really nice for interviews like this because time zones always screw me up. So yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself. So you got Bell's palsy recently, but then I was reading a little bit this morning about you. And did you have Bell's palsy when you were a kid as well?
I did, yeah, twice when I was a kid.
Okay, so that's really interesting. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Like when you were a kid, and was it on the same side of the face and all that stuff?
Yeah, so when I was a baby, I had it for a short period of time on my left side. And then when I was in grade 3, so I was 8 years old, I got it again on that same left side.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then it just resolved. So Bell's palsy, by definition, it just resolves and goes away. So that's very interesting. I haven't talked to, no, Heather's joining us. She's had Bell's palsy since she's been a kid. And it didn't completely resolve, but it's very interesting to me that it would come and go.
Yeah.
Now, this time you got it. You got it on the same side again?
No, the right side.
The right side. So that's interesting. So tell me about that. So you're young and married. You're living in the city. You're an entrepreneur. And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I love to work hard. I've always had a job since I was in high school. So yeah, moving to the city definitely had like big dreams. I've worked with the same company now for 3 years. Yeah, so full time, and it's a production job, so lots of stress on
Go, go,
set.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, really fast paced, like hustle world.
hmm And you enjoy that, though? You feel rewarded by that, or do you feel like you're, I don't know, working too much for other people? Now you have a side job, so I'm assuming that you also
Yeah,
like to do things on your own for
yeah.
your own business.
I feel like I'm constantly like learning the balance and learning what's healthy for me. And yeah, Bell's palsy really taught me a lot about that. But yes.
Mm-hmm. That is always interesting, when we're, growing up. I mean, I'm 42, and I feel like we're really similar. And I was 25, had goals, got to get there, gonna have a business and do all the things. And that's wonderful. But you're right. There is a balance between, I feel like when we learn like why we're doing those things, because it's not the amount of energy that you're outputting. I mean, you're a very energetic person. So was I. It's not the amount of energy. It's the reason why you're doing something.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting to me. Now that when did you, so you woke up with Bell's palsy a few months ago? I didn't find the exact time, but it was this year, right?
Yeah, it was actually February.
Okay. So what was going on in your life at the time? Like, were you more stressed than normal? Do you think that there was something maybe that set that off more than, I mean, I know that's the golden question. We always, people with Bell's palsy, we always want these answers. Well,
Yeah.
we're never going to get the answers, but the interesting part is just to make sure that we kind of heal ourselves
Yeah.
and help others heal for the future. So did you feel like there was something extra going on at that time?
For sure. I did feel that I was particularly a little bit more stressed. And yeah, I was just like kind of in my head, like, I want there to be something to like show me how I can change my life right now.
Okay.
So,
So you were working hard, and you asked for a sign, or whether you're a religious person, you asked the universe, you asked for a sign to say like, hey, tell me if
yeah,
something needs to change or not.
I was a little bit in that mindset of
Yeah.
like something I think needs to change. I'm not quite happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you woke up literally with Bell's palsy the next day. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. We always kind of, you're hoping that someone's just going to drop like, like a carrier pigeon, or like, like the owl from Harry Potter is going to come and just give us the gift of the answer that's going to change. And, that's not what it is. I mean, our intuition will literally, you already know that something's off for yourself because you're asking that question. So so obviously you got Bell's palsy. You were already familiar with it because it's been in your past. So many of us kind of woke up and had no idea what it was, but you knew. And what did you do? What, obviously, doctor and that.
Yeah. I mean, something I didn't do right away was go to emergency. I wish I did, because the sooner you get like steroids in your system, the quicker your recovery.
Yeah.
I did not know, so I was like, oh, I've had Bell's palsy before. This might last for a little bit, might last for a long.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just took my own time to process that over the weekend. I went for coffee with a friend. I, went for lunch, and then like 3 days later was like, oh, I should go. So that was a big mistake, and something I like want to like tell everyone is, if you have this sign or you think that's happening, definitely go to emergency.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, I spent the weekend just processing, and then finally went to emergency, and they confirmed it and gave me the medication I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you rested for a while, you were tired, whatever. Most of us go through that. Now, during that period, is that when you kind of decided to change anything, or have you changed anything, or what do you think?
Yeah, my life changed a lot. It took me about 3 weeks to accept that I should stop working. It took me a long time to like unwind and like unlearn how to not work. So I took too long to do that as well. After about 3 weeks, I was like, okay, I think I just need to stop work altogether, because I'm obviously not processing this correctly, and I'm not getting the rest that I need by just working part-time and trying to do both. So
Mm-hmm.
I made the decision for myself to completely stop and
Mm-hmm.
completely let my body rest. So I did it for about 2.5 months.
Awesome. And obviously that's made a difference, because you look like you're, coming around. You seem like you're in a better place.
Yeah.
The posts that you're saying, the post that I read and I quoted in the post that we said today is, that's why we're here, is because we need to, Bell's palsy or otherwise, stick together. And for me, it's important to bring what I've learned to the table, especially to young women like yourself. Like, there's no right way and wrong way. Like us talking, there's a couple times that you've said, oh, I didn't do the right thing. I didn't do the right thing. And that's what I'm like that too in my life. There is no right and wrong. There's just kind of, what we do. We all do our best. And that's the important part, for us to stick together and, have each other's backs. Reem's here, Heather's here, and we talk about that all the time. Like, we can't beat ourselves up for doing the right thing, or not knowing, or not going to emergency. Like, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You need to go for coffee with a friend. Cool. Like,
yeah.
We need to stop beating ourselves up over that. But what we can do, like you said, is show up and speak and use our voices for other people, so that they have that information. Yeah. So now, after you took a few months off, you're spending time for yourself, obviously learning what self-care is. I'm assuming that, because just, I would say close to 100% of the people that we talk to on Bell's Palsy Talk Live, like, we need to figure out what it is that self-care even is, never mind start doing it. And, I can tell that you've really done that. So now what? Are you back to work? I know you have a side job that you're doing. That's wonderful. So tell us what you're up to now.
Yeah. I think parts of me are still, I think, like, whether it's the word grieving or just accepting the change in myself, I think I'm going through for sure, because confidence definitely took a hit, and I feel like I'm not the same person when I go out. So I haven't resumed to full-time work. I did go back to basically full-time in September. But yeah, lots has changed. It was just the confidence piece, I think, for me, that my job was very, talking in front of clients, needing to be confident, strong, and I
fake, right? Whether you're feeling it or not, you have to put on that happy face, and that takes a toll, for sure.
And like, I couldn't put that happy face on, like, physically. So that was just so difficult. But I am, in a much better place. I'm probably 95% recovered. I went to, I visited a hyperbaric chamber a couple of times. So
cool.
Oxygen therapy. Yeah, that, in my opinion, did wonders for, so
I'm super interested about that. I haven't talked to somebody who's who's really done that in person, and definitely not in this context. So you just go, is it like kind of like tanning bed and you just lie there and there's oxygen, or how does it work?
There's definitely ones like that, but the ones I went to is more like a portable style, like sort of feel like you actually could just go sit in there with people. So I did that. Yeah, basically it promotes inflammatory swelling, so it increases that in your body.
Yeah, so even if it doesn't necessarily specifically help with Bell's palsy, it's not going to hurt, and it's going to help everything else. Yeah, stress and all that. You know? Yeah,
I got an MRI, and one of the things the doctors told me was that bone that holds the nerve in your face on either side, mine was quite small, so whenever it was compressed or stress, that bone was kind of severing this nerve that connects muscles. So I think that the hyperbaric chamber just, you know, allowed that compression to just be faster. So
that makes sense. And with all the natural remedies, that's why I love to learn so much about them, because like I said, there is no magic pill. We know that, you know, with Bell's palsy, but you know, the stress part is such a huge impact for us in this community, that anything that we can do to deal with that stress and you know, confidence and self-worth and self-care, you know, that's what we need to do. Now can you just repeat what it is? Millie's asking. So it's a hyperbaric chamber.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'll take it out.
Yeah. And usually you can go like for like, you know, you can find them through like naturopaths or natural kind of health places. Now we live in Vancouver. It's a pretty big city up here in Canada. So if people are in smaller kind of communities, I don't know if that's kind of available, but definitely look it up online. Yeah. And you know, you have to pay for it. It's not covered by medical, especially up here in Canada. But Reem, very interesting to know. Barbie, can you please add to that, to the post when sharing the live later? Yes. So I'll post. Maybe Kyleigh, you can send me the information. If you send me a link just of where you went to here in Vancouver, that way people can look it up and then find places that are similar in their communities. I always like to share natural kind of things like that. And yeah, Reem would be a perfect example, like you. Oh, perfect. So Kyleigh put it right there. Hyperbaric chamber. So that's a cool thing, and it helps with stress in your body and oxygenating. Obviously, your cells need to have oxygen in them. We don't take good enough care of our bodies. Period. You know, so especially the state that our world is in right now and all the stuff that we eat. But so what are you up to today? Sunday. It's pretty nice here. I don't know if there's smoke where you guys are. There's a little bit of smoke out here in White Rock. But are you heading out? Or are you relaxing today, getting ready for the week?
Yeah, we have a family dinner tonight. Some friends are in town, so
nice.
Into that.
That's awesome. And you know, taking care of ourselves and spending time with people who make us feel valued is really important. Staying away from people who don't, and make sure we welcome those into our lives who make us feel valued. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, everybody who is on the live. Thank you for joining us. Kyleigh will send me that link, and I'll post that a little bit later in the live. And it's great catching up with you. You look wonderful, and keep up the self-care and do things for you. And we'll use our voices to speak out and encourage other people to do that too.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Everybody.